Mark Rogers TV's College Football Predictions Week 6. If you have yet to check out our videos from this week, you have missed a ton with some of the best bloggers and broadcasters in college football. Just check out the videos regardless of the team you follow, the conference, the matchups, whether you just follow the big games or some of the under-the-radar games. We preview just about everything from multiple angles, from multiple viewpoints. All right. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, and the long-form conversations are on Stitcher, Podbean, and iTunes. Just search Mark Rogers TV. Couple strong weeks consecutively against the spread for us. 16-7 2 weeks ago, 12-7 last week. Of course, take note of the confidence picks against the spread. I'm traditionally close to 70% of the last 4 seasons against the spread confidence picks. I'm 12-6 this year, including 3-1. So I took Northwestern plus 16 against Wisconsin last week. I took Iowa plus the 4 against Michigan State. That was my one loss and a very close one at that. I also took Maryland plus the 13 against Minnesota. They won it straight up, and I took Clemson minus 7 against Virginia Tech. That brings me to 58-39 against the spread. Pretty darn good. 82-20 overall. All right, here we go this week. Let's start with the noon games and go through the day from there. Clemson defeats Wake Forest. Take Wake plus the 21.5. Am I confident in that pick? No. Clemson might be the best football team in the country, but take Wake with a strong defense, 21.5 points. Oklahoma over Iowa State. I understand no Jacob Park in this game for the Cyclones, but take Iowa State plus the 31.5 points. That is a ton of points. And if you've heard me in the past make my predictions, stay away from the huge point spreads because you don't know who's going to be playing in the fourth quarter, how hard they're going to be playing, and if the coach mentality is going to be let's throw on the throttle or pull back and go into cruise control and allow a backdoor touchdown or two. All right, Penn State at Northwestern. Nittany Lions, a 14-point favorite. I believe they cover. I'm not big on road of favorites covering, but Penn State that much better than Northwestern. The Wildcats having some serious issues along the offensive line. Penn State covers 14 against the Wildcats. Georgia, Vandy in Nashville. I like Georgia, of course, to win the game. Vanderbilt covers 17. Take Vandy plus the 17 points. Auburn, Ole Miss on the Plains. I like the Rebels plus the 22 points. I just think it's too many. I could certainly see Auburn winning this game by 3 or 4 touchdowns or even more, but I will take the Rebels plus the 22. Auburn wins the game outright. TCU, West Virginia. Ding! Confidence pick right here. The game's at TCU. Yes, the Horned Frogs could cover the 13, but I like the Mountaineers plus the 13. These two teams are too evenly matched for 13 points to go by in this one. TCU wins the game. Take the Mountaineers plus the 13 points in a confidence play. Miami, Florida State. This one a narrow selection right here. Miami wins in Tallahassee. Most of the people that I talk to, and I understand I have a large contingent of Miami fans here, love the Canes to win and cover and blow out the Noles, but unless James Blackman throws 4 interceptions and really does some stupid things with the football, Florida State's a top 5 talent football team. They're not going to be one of the top 5 teams in the country this year, but talent-wise, they're one of the 5 or 6 best teams in the country. Take the 3 points, narrow win for Miami, Florida State plus the 3 points. Notre Dame at North Carolina. Something tells me in a certain vein that North Carolina is going to keep this close, i.e. the Louisville game, but the Cardinals still covered at the end. So I'm going to be watching this one throughout the day thinking maybe Notre Dame is only winning by 3 or 7, but they should cover in the end. Notre Dame minus 13.5 on the road at North Carolina with 14 players injured. Pick'em game. Florida wins at home against LSU. The Gators, despite their awful offensive play, are more cohesive and together as a team. There's some bad things brewing in Baton Rouge. So take Florida. Pick'em game against LSU. Key game in the SEC Eastern Division for the Gators, of course. Ohio State and Maryland. Yes, the Buckeyes seem to be getting it together. We don't have a barometer of against anybody decent. They have yet to play a good team since they left the field with their heads hanging in shame against Oklahoma. All right, 31 points here. So consider Ohio State was a 30-point pick against Rutgers. I know that was a road game versus a home game. Maryland has gone on the road to Texas, and they won. Ohio State's much better than Texas. Yes, Maryland went on the road to Minnesota and won that game. Take Maryland in a confidence play with 31 points against Ohio State. Third-string quarterback Bortenschlager has performed well in limited duty for Maryland, and he's getting better, as witnessed against the Gophers last week. Ohio State wins comfortably. Take the Terps plus the 31 in a confidence play. USC, Oregon State, too many points here. I know Jake Luton, the starting quarterback for Oregon State, who's not extremely good anyway, is possibly out. Ryan Nall is questionable, but Oregon State plus the 33 points. Again, I'm going to run with the points here. USC at home. Texas, Kansas State, Longhorns eke out a win. More talent on the roster. They've already played in big games and big settings. So this is not their first big test of the year for Kansas State. Of course, they went to Vandy and lost. But I like Kansas State to keep it close. Let's not give up on Bill Snyder and company to finish 8-4. Kansas State plus 6.5 against Texas. Longhorns eke out a win. South Carolina is a home dog against an Arkansas team that's really not that good. Take South Carolina to win the game plus the 3 points. Take the 3, but they're going to win it outright as well. Bama, Texas A&M. This could be crazy, but considering the last 2 weeks, I could be falling into a trap. Bama's won by 59 and 63 against teams not quite as good as Texas A&M, but not that much lesser. And I understand this game could be 41-17 with a backdoor cover by Texas A&M, but Bama has been that dominant. I'm looking at like 48-10, 48-17, something in that range. Bama minus 26.5. And yes, I'm going to pull the trigger because I want to give you guys confidence picks. I'm not that confident in really any game other than the first play, the TCU West Virginia play. But after that, I thought I got to give you guys 3 or 4 confidence picks each and every week. So what 3 or 4 games am I most confident in? This is one of them. Bama, even on the road in a difficult place to play, minus 26.5 against Texas A&M. Virginia Tech, BC, game in Boston will be relatively close. Virginia Tech much more talented. BC keeps it close. Take the 16.5. Hokies win. Michigan, Michigan State. I've gone back and forth on this one. It's at the Big House. Best defense possibly in college football. Certainly a top 5 to 6 defense in Michigan. Michigan State has improved. They've cleaned some things up. They're going to be a formidable play in the Big Ten. They're going to reach bowl play. They're going to get back to that 7-5 kind of status, but they don't win this game and they don't come that close. Yes, it's competitive, but think 2 touchdowns. Michigan minus 10 at the Big House against Michigan State. Wisconsin, Nebraska, ditto here, but Wisconsin going on the road to Nebraska. This seems like a fairly easy pick, but we'll expect the Huskers to put up a fight. Take Wisconsin. They're going to cover 10.5, but not completely annihilate Nebraska. Huskers put up a fight. Wisconsin wins by a few scores, minus 10.5. Oregon, Washington, upset alert for the Cougars on the road. Ducks win the game. So take Oregon plus the 3 points, and they also win the game straight up against Washington State coming off that USC win. Central Florida, Cincinnati. If you've watched me here on Mark Rogers TV, yes, I love the group of 5. I watch it on Thursday and Friday night, keep track of it. Have many contributors from the past from the group of 5. It's difficult to keep track of, though, considering everything I'm doing. So these are probably the least confidence picks based on what I watch on Saturday. So we take Central Florida here, but I'm going to take the points. Central Florida wins it. Cincinnati at home plus the 17. Go with Luke Fickell and company. Utah, Stanford. Utes a road or a home underdog. I like Utah to win the game. I really was in love with Stanford before the season started. Have not seen much out of the Cardinal as they have been not performing well, period. Even in the win against Arizona State, considering how bad the Sun Devils are. Stanford winning that game by 10. I like Utah to win the game. So take Utah plus the 3.5 points against Stanford. Washington, Cal. Maybe I'm getting trapped by this one as well, but I'm going to hold to my 70% record over 4 years and think that I actually have something here. Washington's at home. They have not performed well in the first half, but they do take the ball away, and Cal turns it over. recipe for disaster for the Golden Bears of Justin Wilcox. Cal might be running out of gas. They have performed extremely well early in this season, beating Ole Miss, taking USC to a tie game with 10 minutes left, etc., etc. But 28.5 points is a ton. Washington is now facing the best team that they're going to face to date. So I like the Huskies to win the game comfortably, but Cal plus 28.5 points, confidence pick. And finally, San Diego State UNLV. I've seen the Aztecs play a little bit against Stanford. That's about it. I'm going to say they cover 9 at Vegas. All right, those are my picks for Week 6 college football. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. We will discuss and debate college football, as you can see in the comments section, on the various videos that I get to as many as possible. And I would like to start a mailbag feature as well to get your comments aired and for me to answer your questions and concerns. And it's always a fun debate with you guys. Would love to hear from you on your picks and anything regarding this great game of college football right here on Mark Rogers TV.